I finished off this project quite a while ago. I just never made the time to sit down and edit all the footage that I had taken. So this is a piece of African teak, or kiat as we call it in South Africa. A very nice slab of wood that I picked up just outside Johannesburg. I flattened it with my router. Didn't take too many passes to do it, only to find out that there were borer beetle in the sapwood, in the outside rim of the wood, which is quite disappointing for me. The borer like the sapwood because it's soft, a lot softer than the inside, so they generally don't get to the inside darker parts of the wood. But I had to make the tough call to cut off the outside piece of the wood, cut off all the sapwood with my chainsaw, because to me it was unusable. Otherwise I could have, I guess, gone and been creative, fill it with resin or something like that, but I don't think it would have looked good at all. It was around 1 meter in diameter, so after cutting away the sapwood it was still around 800 millimeters in diameter. It was intended to be a small coffee table, so at least it was still big enough for that. At first I only removed half of the sapwood because I hoped that the borer beetle didn't get to the hardwood, but I later on had to just go ahead and remove all the sapwood because the borer started to actually get to the darker hardwood, and I had to remove all of it. It was still a fun process though, because as you chisel away the sapwood, you start to discover very nice grain and just figures and character of the darker wood inside. The more I chiseled away and sanded down the sapwood, the more the true beauty of this wood started to be revealed. This is a very good example of when we allow God to do work in our lives, as He reveals the imperfect things that our sinful nature has caused, and we allow Him to do the work, then ultimately His beauty would be revealed through us. I used my grinder to do the heavy lifting on the sanding, and then after that I went over to the orbital sander. You just have to be very careful working with the grinder because it does remove so much wood. You can easily mess up your project. I wanted to go for the nice big 45-degree bevel on this piece of wood because I wanted to add some elegance to the character that it had. I always try and preserve as much character as possible. The more you work on a piece of furniture, sometimes you can start to actually remove the character that makes it so beautiful by making everything symmetrical or trying to make everything perfect. So by keeping this in mind, you will almost always have a unique piece of furniture at the end of the day, where nothing looks like something that you've done before, or something that someone else has made before. I had a friend of mine make these black steel hairpin legs for me. The black steel and the dark wood really go well together. Make sure to use a punch to mark exactly where you want to drill. If you just use a pencil and mark, sometimes depending on the grain of the wood, it would actually move your drill bit off the spot that you actually want to drill into, and then you've got a hole that's off center. So for the finish on this table, I wanted to preserve the natural color and the character of the wood. I didn't want it to be stained any darker, so I went with Rubio Monocoat Clear. I also wanted it obviously to be sealed very well because it is a coffee table, and that's why I went with Monocoat, because it does a great job at sealing your furniture. I only started branding my furniture recently, just because I never had a branding iron. So got this one made, and it really does make you feel like your work is now complete and makes you feel proud of the work you've done. I mainly focus on making custom furniture, so this was actually my first table that I made without having a specific client beforehand that ordered it from me. So it took me about a month to just put it on Marketplace and sell it. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you stick to the end, you'll see the finished product.